Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Crypt Finder. This is the channel where we really dig into some of the forgotten horrors of the 1970s and 1980s. And tonight I want to talk about another made-for-TV horror classic. It's sort of in that chilling, claustrophobic kind of world from 1974. The movie is Bad Ronald. This little psychological thriller left audiences disturbed long after the credits rolled. There was an entire generation traumatized by this movie, and they thought every creak, every noise, every tree limb brushing against a window pane was ultimately Ronald stalking through the walls of their home. And so let's dive into this twisted tale of paranoia, isolation, and all the dangerous consequences that ultimately come with unresolved guilt and mental illness. Bad Ronald begins with Ronald Wilby. He's a shy, awkward teenager. He lives with an overprotective mother. And it's not just that he's sort of awkward. He's very smart, but he's also kind of geeky. But then an accident really changes everything. After a confrontation with the neighborhood girl turns deadly, Ronald, in just a moment of panic, he buries the body. His desperate mother tries to protect him by concealing him inside the walls of their home. From here, things only get stranger. Ronald's mother designs a hidden room for him where he can stay out of sight from the world, but when she suddenly passes away, Ronald is left alone. He's living in the walls of the house, and he gradually starts losing touch with reality. So what starts out as a temporary hiding place ultimately becomes a permanent prison where he has to view the world just through hidden panels and through small peepholes. What? I'm recording a video for all these nice people. It can't wait? Fine, just give it to me. Thank you, Otto. You can go back down to the dungeon now and just continue bleeding all the victims. It's from the Homeowners Association. Let's see. Oh, excessive noise complaints. Let's see. Too many wolves howling at night. Too much screaming going on. Uptick in missing persons in the neighborhood. Blah, 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 blah. I think if you all have watched this channel long enough, you probably realize what now has to happen. I have to go and eat the Homeowners Association. Well, que sera, sera. Okay, so let's get back to talking about Bad Ronald. Where were we? Okay, yes. Unaware of this secret living in the walls all around them, this new family occupies the house, and Ronald, now completely unhinged, he begins to create a fantasy world inside his own mind, where he ultimately imagines himself to be this sort of misunderstood hero. But as his delusions deepen, his interactions with the family grow more dangerous. He becomes a little bit more bold, and it ultimately turns Bad Ronald into a slow burn nightmare of hidden threats and paranoia. What makes Bad Ronald so unsettling is the very eerie premise. You have a killer basically hiding in plain sight, lurking behind the walls of your home. Unlike a lot of the made-for-TV movies I've been exploring in this series, to either introduce them to a new generation or as a refresher for those who have a lot of nostalgia for those forgotten classics, this was one I did not catch during its initial broadcast. I don't know what happened, but I do remember a lot of neighborhood kids talking about this movie and how scary it was, and then I felt really let down because, hey, I would have liked to have seen it too. So I didn't actually see this movie until I was an adult. I think the creepiness factor of it sort of will play on your mind a little bit more as a child versus an adult, but still well worth your time. So if you're going to revisit this one and it's something that you experienced in your childhood, you're going to have a good time. If it's new for you, okay, I would caution you to put aside some of the plot holes, just go with the total suspension of disbelief. It's a story of isolation and madness and a very chilling reflection of how a mind can just sort of snap, and also the very claustrophobic vibe that this movie gives off. It's constantly leaving you wondering when Ronald is going to snap and all the horrors that are going to follow after that. Although Bad Ronald might not be as popular as some other horror movies from the 1970s, it still has a strong following, and definitely you can feel its impact. The film taps into all those primal fears, the idea that danger might be closer than we think, lurking where we least suspect it, even within the supposed safety of our own homes. For a made-for-TV movie, yep, it pushed the boundaries of psychological horror, leaving viewers with a very unsettling sense of dread. Scott Jacoby here, he plays Ronald Wilby, and he does just a really chilling job of delivering a performance that's this disturbed, socially awkward teenager. Jacoby was already a well-known actor at the time. He had won an Emmy Award for his role in the 1972 TV movie That Certain Summer. I remember him a little bit more from The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane with Jodie Foster and Martin Sheen. That was really the first time that I had ever saw this actor before. But he made a lasting impression in that film as well. And just as a bizarre offshoot, who knows if anyone would be interested in this, but B. Arthur, who played Dorothy Spornak in The Golden Girls, this actor, Scott Jacoby, he played her son, Michael, in 3 different episodes. I don't know, just an interesting footnote. Even though Ronald is very deeply disturbed, Jacoby brings a sense of vulnerability and awkwardness to the character that really makes him both unsettling and at the same time somewhat sympathetic. His performance effectively captures Ronald's descent from a socially awkward outcast to a full-blown delusional recluse. Viewers often find themselves torn a little bit between pity and fear for Ronald, and I have not read the book by Jack Vance, but from what I can understand, it seems like the character is much more of a psychopath in the book. That would have never flown for 1970s television. Absolutely not. They had much stricter content standards compared to any sort of theatrical films at the time, but I also think a large part of sort of softening the character was ultimately just due to the fact that Scott Jacoby's performance was so good. Kim Hunter here plays Ronald's mother, and she does an excellent job. She, of course, will be remembered for her Academy Award-winning performance as Stella Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire from 1951, and also, definitely for genre fans, you will recognize her as Zira in the Planet of the Apes films from 1968 to 1971. By the way, Julie Harris was originally cast as Zira, but dropped out over concerns with the very extensive makeup and facial prosthetics. And I mention that only because Julie Harris is in another one of my favorite made-for-TV movies that I covered back in December called Home for the Holidays. So if you didn't watch that one, please go back and check that one out. Dabney Coleman plays the new owner of the house, and he's father to the 3 young girls. He's not in the movie very much, but audiences, of course, will recognize him instantly from some of his roles in 9 to 5, War Games, Tootsie from 1982, and also in TV's Boardwalk Empire. So what do you think about Bad Ronald? If you happen to see this movie at the time, or if you go and watch it now, please let us know what you think about it in the comments. Does the idea of someone sort of hiding and watching, lurking in the shadows, does that give you the creeps or not? I can also theorize, certainly, that a host of other later films should give a serious nod to this one as inspiration, and that would include things like Crawl Space from 1986, The People Under the Stairs from 1991, The Boy from 2016, and even the Netflix 2019 film I See You, and many, many others. I'm not saying it was the first. It wasn't. There were lots of films that preceded this where you had either secret tunnels or passageways through a house, or you had someone hidden within a home unseen. But I think that this movie right here, this was the one that actually just crystallized it into the sort of horror movie trope that we know today. So if you're hungry for more obscure 70s and 80s made-for-TV horror, don't worry. there's plenty coming on the way. So I hope that you all will hit the like and subscribe button so you'll be notified when I drop a new video. And until next time, and as always, stay curious and stay scared.